pissed off. I am not very happy, I'm French. I am not very nice, I'm French. And I'm not particularly funny because, as you guessed it, I am French. Anyway, I need my glasses. I've been here 35 years. I work in hospitality. I serve my roast beef masters in London. I run a big venue in Hackney, doing weddings, everything. I'm supposed to make you happy. I know, it's a bit of a disaster. But anyway, tonight it's Valentine's night, yes? So, but French, I just wanted to let you know about something. I mean, I didn't write it, I found it today. English is just badly pronounced French. Who said this? Georges Clemenceau, French president. I agree. The word for love is French is amour. It is masculine when singular, but feminine when plural. Who knew this? This is true. So there you are, you know, when you're on your own, it's masculine, but when you're a few of you, it's feminine. So, like an orgy, I guess. Anyway, moving on to a colleague of mine, the very famous French psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan. Some of you might be familiar. L'amour, c'est donner ce qu'on n'a pas à quelqu'un qui n'en veut pas. Which translates as love is giving something you don't have to someone who doesn't want it. I don't know if it's funny, but actually it's quite, it makes you think. That's how it made me think. It's from the 1958 seminar. If any of you, well, actually, Mr. Psychiatrist, you will know this, yeah?
Love a bit of Lacan.
You are, well, everybody likes a little bit of Lacan. I agree with you. Talking about sex, sorry, sex in English names. So, you know, your Essex, Sussex, Middlesex, whatever. It comes from the Anglo-Saxon sex. The Saxon who came from the continent, the North Sea coast, which is now Germany, and they settled in Britain about 1500 years ago. Instantly, they pushed my ancestors from Brittany back to Brittany. So I'm making a claim back to this country. Anyway, that's not the story. Sex refers to a small sword, to a small knife. But we also know that sex, from Proto-Indo-European sexus to sec, cut, thus meaning section, division. So probably the same etymology. So sex is Germanic. So there you are. I did not invent any of this. It's only my advanced research this morning in my bed. Talking of which, I beg to differ, because talking about kinky cuisine, another quote, I think cuisine and sex have lots of common points. That was by the very famous French chef, Paul Bocuse. Yeah, man. Yeah, I can only agree. He was my boss. Now, talking about bits, Gabriele Falloppio in the 16th century, often known by his Latin name Fallopius, one of the most important anatomists and physicians of the 16th century, as I said, described what is now known as the fallopian tubes. So there you are, ladies. Not pubes, tubes. Gabriele Falloppio. So there you are. I just wanted to inform you about sex, love, and you know, God knows, procuration, you name it, fornication. Incidentally, fornication is not that bad, because fornication only means that you're not married. So there's nothing wrong with fornicating, just so that you know. Anyway, that's not the point. The two sex symbols, Mars and Venus, some of you might be aware of it, were first used by Carl Linnaeus, in 1551, in 1751, I beg your pardon, to denote sex of plants, crossbreeds, since they are, as we all know, hermaphroditic. Aha, the psychiatrists might know about this as well. Any physicians in the room? About sex, no? So basically, but then it gets even more interesting because he regularly used the planetary symbols of Mars, Venus, and Mercury, because that was for male, female, and hermaphroditic. Because the plants are hermaphroditic and they are perfect. So if you want to make perfect, you are not from Mars, you're not from Venus, you are from Mercury. Hey, wow, well, okay, I'm not even charging for this. So now we read from science, well, science I studied this morning, that allegedly, in my bed, men often need sex to find love, whereas it seems that it's the other way around for women. In other words, women often need love to find sex. Not always, but often. I'm not quite sure about this one, but that's what science tells us. I think we've moved on from that one. I'm still single, by the way. I've been doing comedy for 20 years. So maybe I need, something needs to be done. Anyway, so regarding facts about love, sex, and fornication, or potential fornication. There is a chemical called edion in Eau Sauvage. Who knows Eau Sauvage by Christian Dior? Anyone familiar? Seriously, anybody wearing Eau Sauvage? No? You should. Okay. Anyway, there's a chemical edion in Eau Sauvage by Christian Dior that stimulates sex hormones release in women. That was Christian Dior created Eau Sauvage in 1966. That was a discovery by a Swiss laboratory in 1962. So there you are, edion. But it gets even more interesting because in Greek mythology, Edon is personified as a goddess of pleasure, enjoyment, and delight, as the daughter born from the union of Eros, personification of love, and Psyche, Mr. Psychiatrist. Can you tell us who Psyche was?
No.
She was the personification of the soul. I paid for your studies. Yeah. She was associated more specifically with sensual pleasure. So we're talking about Edone here. Hence hedonistic, etc., etc., as you all know. So there. Talking of which, I know I'm really overrunning here, but you get lots of information so for free, and I'm not charging, so fuck off. Anyway, so tomorrow, my little petals, I just need to explain to you something. Tomorrow, not tonight. What is the prime time for passion? What is the prime time, Mr. Psychiatrist? Do you know the prime time for passion? Anybody knows?
6 a.m.
Ah, not bad. How do you know this? That's not bad. Well, it turns out that testosterone and or estrogen levels replenish overnight during the REM cycle and tend to be higher in the morning, increasing one's libido upon waking up. Our bodies are primed for sex with high levels of the hormone dopamine, which is at its peak after a night's sleep. So this might explain that. My kids, my little babies, my little petals, tonight, no funny, but tomorrow morning, go for it.